Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today I just wanted to talk about some things that were, I guess, just weighing on my mind. Things that I feel like I've started to come to terms with as I've grown into adulthood. And I don't know, I used to chalk it up to being nostalgic whenever I would think about things in my life that maybe I could have done better, or people I've lost, distances that were created between me and others, or bridges burned. And I would always chalk it up to me, being sensitive and just telling myself, like, if you dwell on these things, then you're just gonna upset yourself and there's no point, right? But as I've grown older, I've come to realize that it's all a part of life, all these changes that happen, and we really don't have 100% control over the things that happen. So I just wanted to talk to you guys about 4 different things that we should come to terms with as we grow into adulthood, or really any transitional period in our lives. So the very first thing that I've come to terms with is that you can't expect anyone to hold your hand through your problems. And I learned this in a terrible way because it was during college. I was taking a French class and I was accused of taking this class because it would intentionally boost my GPA. And it's honestly a very convoluted and just ridiculous story, but what I learned from that is that you really need to figure things out for yourself, as well as pay attention to the details to avoid those situations to begin with. I tried to call my mom and let her know what was happening, and her instincts were to call the school and complain. But when you're going to a private university and you're paying money to be there, it's not their obligation to make sure that your mom is pleased, right? So honestly, that route didn't work. I was helped through the situation by other people through the kindness of their heart, but I learned that you just can't expect that from everyone, and the best thing is just to protect yourself from the get-go. You really are expected to do things like get up on your own accord. There's no one that's gonna wake you up in the morning and tell you to brush your teeth, right? You have to set your own alarms, and then when you get to your destination in the morning, you're expected to perform autonomously. And if not, then there's consequences, right? There's really no chance for extra credit or, to make up work that you don't do, because what you're doing could impact the lives of others. So it's just really things like that. Learning responsibility and just the brevity of your role in this world. The second thing that I've come to terms with is that relationships change, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. Honestly, who here keeps in touch with everyone that they knew from kindergarten or from high school? I know maybe 2 to 3 people that I could call right now from those time periods and that I actually consider friends, and it's not even a negative thing. It's just that as you grow up and you guys reach a fork in the road where one fork takes one person this way and the other fork takes another person in the opposite direction, and it honestly depends on what you want out of your life. But things could also change in the fact that people could just be removed from your life, whether it's getting new jobs and moving away, or joining the Peace Corps, or even dying. In the end, you'll see who's healthy for your life and who isn't, and that's also a good thing. Whenever someone leaves your life, it doesn't necessarily have to be because you had an argument or a disagreement. It could just be because maybe you want to align yourself with people who have similar goals to you, and the people that you're comfortable with don't want those same things. Also, your relationship with your parents can change. Mine definitely have. I remember growing up, I was very dependent on my parents. They were very strict military parents, and so it was comfortable to know that if I had a problem, my parents would be the ones to deal with them, or they would set up my doctor's appointments, or go to conferences for me, or bring me places, give me rides, and I feel like now that I've grown into an adult, those relationships go from nurturing and me needing them, or I guess dependency, to consulting or mentorship. The third thing that I've come to terms with is that not everything has a solution, and this one honestly is one of the more frustrating ones, just because if you have a type A personality, you want everything to be resolved. It's just not how life goes, and I'm still coming to terms with this, but I've realized that I need to come to terms with it. Honestly, an example of this would just be, cancer research. And as you know, cancer doesn't have a cure. We're doing all this research in hopes that people will pull through, but I mean, at the end of the day, people do die, and there's really nothing that you can do about that. I just learned that there are certain things that you have to do to create your own solution, even if they resolve with sequelae. You can't rely on others to create solutions for you. And it's just something that, honestly, I don't know if it's fair or not. The fourth and final thing that I have come to terms with in growing into adulthood is realizing that everything is temporary and tomorrow's really not promised. And I've learned this through so many lessons, basically, whether it's getting a new job or losing a job, breakups, people dying. I live in Chicago, and there's like a huge homeless population here, and I've had conversations with homeless people who were once in my position, very comfortable. They had jobs, they were well respected, they were even veterans, and it just takes one bad thing to happen for you to lose everything. And so what it's taught me is that I shouldn't be taking things for granted or even really expecting things to come easy to me just because I work hard or I see myself as a good person. So those are some of the things that I've just been ruminating on as the days go by, and some things that I'm working on coming to terms with, as well as, things that I've come to terms with just in life. And I know that's only 4 things that I've listed, and there's so many more, and I'm honestly more interested to hear what you guys think of this topic, and if there's anything that you guys have come to terms with as you've gone through any transitional period in your life. I would love to see that in the comments down below, so be sure to leave them there. And also check me out on Pinterest, because our community is growing every day and it makes me so happy. It's like my little baby that's just blossoming, and it's fantastic. So you should definitely check me out on there. There's a lot of very helpful resources in terms of mental health and productivity, as well as some personal finance and independent stuff. It's also on Pinterest, so definitely be sure to follow me on there, and we can interact and stuff there as well. And every week I tell you guys that my blog is coming. I've been working really hard on it, and it's coming, so please be on the lookout for that. I will make an announcement once it has launched. So thank you guys so much for watching this video, and I will see you next week in the next one.